I'll start with my introduction of about transmission. So transmission. So if you start with the transmission, so I'm not going to uh, give more detail on how it is working principle construction wise. So everyone are mechanical and automobile engineers there, so they know about what is vehicle, engine, transmission, differential, wheel, everything will be known. So to start with this lecture, so everyone knows engine is the heart of the vehicle. So to drive the vehicle, so you need the proper energy or power that need to be transferred to the wheel. So without transmission or the transmitting power, you're not able to do that. So that is how transmission plays a role in our vehicle. So let us go in slide by slide. So what I'm going to give a introduction of transmission, how it is, and what is its future technologies, and how we are going to do, how we are going to study, and everything. So to start with the introduction, so everyone knows, the transmission, that is like with the proper gear ratios and number of speeds in the transmission. So the engine can be operated in economic zone. So as you can see in the figure number 1, so whereas CO2 emissions and fuel consumption will be reduced. So because engine is nothing but you have the piston, crankshaft, and you have the putting your fuel inside the piston, getting burned. So that's how you getting the energy has been converted. So for the energy to be converted to drive the vehicle, we need a transmission. And because you need a proper engine idle RPM or higher throttle, full throttle RPM. So this all everything determined based on the transmission gear ratios and also number of speeds. How much speeds you want, like 4 speed, 5 speed, or 6 speed, or 8 speed. So it depends on this gear ratios. We make the engine to be run in a more economic zone so that your fuel efficiency will be benefited and also your emissions in resulting in CO2, NOx, HC will be reduced. So this is the the need for the transmission. And next to that, what it does. So what are the purpose of a transmission? So it aids in providing the vehicle for effective track to effort. See, the point is having gear ratios that gives you track to effort. So there are many kinds of load resistance acting on the vehicle, gradient resistance, or for the launch, whenever the vehicle is in the inertia state. So to overcome that inertia, you need the proper gear ratio to move the vehicle from the inertia, because it can't be done with the higher gear ratios like 5th gear or 6th gear. You cannot start or move the vehicle with 5th gear or 6th gear. So you need a 1st gear or 2nd gear to move the vehicle. So what kind of gear ratios can be put in that segment to have a fuel benefit and also to have the operating engine in an economic zone. So these are the purpose and the need of transmission system, the vehicle. So let us go to the figure 1 shows how the engine has been operated in the economic zone at the lower RPM, where your NOx, fuel economy will be benefited. That is the figure number 1 shows. And figure number 2 shows you that the tractive effort. So with respect to your velocities or speed, how each gear helps in providing the traction effort in case of gradient or in case of flat roads or gauge sections. So these are the various needs and purpose of transmission. This is the purpose. This is the introduction of a transmission system. Hope everyone knows about it. So let me go through the next slide. So what is the current trends in transmission system? So we started the transmission of manual first. So manual was the first thing was developed, and it was going in this coming years also. But to add it to that manual transmission, we have many automatic transmissions. One is automated manual transmission, that is we call it as AMT.
that you can see it in Swift Desire or Tiago AMT or XUV 300 AMT. So these are the vehicles which have AMT transmission. And next, coming to the next point of view, it's a DCT. It's called as a dual clutch or double clutch transmission. So it's an example which car you can say is like Volkswagen Polo GT TSI. So that vehicle has DCT transmission. So and also went to TSI Skoda. So that Volkswagen and Skoda they have a DCT transmission. Next, CVT. It's a continuously variable transmission. So where the power can be transferred infinitely without proper jerk or something. You can see it even our two-wheelers like Honda Activa and vehicle you can see in Baleno, Jazz, i20. So these are examples which I can quote for CVT transmissions. And next for automatic transmission, that is AT. So that comes in the segment of a SUV type, Tucson, Exa, XUV 500. So these are the vehicles which are having AT transmissions. And hybrid now, because of this BS6 transformations and CO2 reduction, so many people have been moving from electric or to hybrid also. So hybrid, I can quote an example for Toyota Prius. So it's a good example for a hybrid transmission. So these are the various transmissions have been involved in the current trends and also future technologies to reduce CO2 and to improvise the fuel consumption. Okay, so this is the current trends and which we are working for the future benefits. Okay, so let me go for the next slide. So what is the why do we go for the automatic transmissions? What is the need for having transmissions that is automatic transmission? So in that case, if you ask me, see people who are driving in manual vehicles. So India is a country which has more densely traffic situations. So people will be pressing the clutch pedal and moving the gear shifter lever at each and every bumper to bumper traffic zone. So in that conditions, people get irritated or getting fatigued. So by keep on pressing, they will get fatigued by the pressing, keep on pressing the clutch pedal. So that is the reason one has getting migrated from manual to automatic transmission. So for this, so to go to automatic transmission, what does the I can say it as a three ways or three principles. So what does everyone needs it? Like what is the customer or consumer needs it, and how this is getting passed or test passed in regulation kind of a testing agencies. So we call the testing agencies like ARAI, so ICAT, so VRD. So these are the testing agents in India who certify the vehicles to launch or to say okay. And other also, and next third part is serviceability. So how factor the how robustness is the vehicle, how robustness is the transmission. So you should not get any prompt of failures while you're driving it. These are three principles which everyone should be satisfied. So coming to that customers, what does a customer needs? Ultimately, he needs a comfort and he needs a performance. So he should be able to go 0 to 100 kmph in 10 seconds with the automatic transmissions. So on comfort, he should not get any jerks, or in case of any jerks in case of shifting the gears or downshift up and every gear. And NVH packages like noise, vibration, or harshness. So into that package also, you should not get too much of noise coming from the bonnet and when you're sitting in the cabin. So these are the consumers needs it, the primary benefits. And regulations. So using of the transmission, they should meet emission norms. So where India, they have to do NEDC cycle and emission test bench, and it has to pass, and it should bring into the particular zone and service robustness and serviceability. So to have these three parameters in confined zone, you have to satisfy all the three principles. So the transmission should be fuel economy benefit, safety aspect, it should be safety aspect, and it should be a good drivability one. So it should be have a good robustness and because of a durability sense, and diagnostics. So each and every hardware or electrical needs to be diagnosed, and uh, it should be delivered, or it should be given feedback to the customer when he was driving the vehicle. So if anything falls or something is, so that should be easily detectable to the customer, and he should go to the nearby dealership to attend this problem. Some kind of a failure that has happened in the transmission. So it's an example. So these are three more principles which everyone is working on it to satisfy the customer regulation and service point of view. So go to the next slide. So who are the leading software solution provider? So it's everything is comes under the automatic transmission. So automatic transmission, nothing but it's not a mechanical one. It comes in the place of mechatronic. So in the place of mechatronics, so everyone will have control systems. They have a control unit. They have a actuation systems, and they have a closed loop control, feedback systems. So everything plays in a role. So in this situations, who are the major tier one suppliers, or in case of companies who provide software, the automatic transmission. So in that case, they do Bosch, they do for AMT transmissions. Conti, they are doing for CVT kind of application. Ricardo, they are doing for DCT and also electric. Promax Technologies, Delphi, Siemens, and KPIT. Durley Controls, they are doing for AT, automated transmission. GTEC is also for AT. So these are the primary software solution provider to the automatic transmission. So how you want that automatic transmission to be worked. So in what aspect you want. So such kind of a control logics will be decided, and they will be giving you software package to flash in the vehicle, and with the logic, the transmission will be working on it. And coming to the next, so who are the leading hardware solution? So who provide this entire hardware? So like automatic transmissions, who is giving the automatic transmission and who is giving the DCT? So in that cases, you have same Bosch, Conti, and Delphi. So Mandy Merli is a hardware solution for AMTs in India. In India, Mandy Merli is the only AMT hardware solution. And Volkswagen, they develop or they give for DCT. Aisin, they develop for AT. And FEV also, they develop for AT. ZF, they develop for AT. And Jatco, they give it for CVT kind of applications in case of Nissan and Toyota. So, and Punch, they're giving for DCT kind of. These are the hardware solution provider for automatic transmission. So they provide the entire kit, the transmission, actuation systems, control unit. So entire things they will be giving it. Next. So coming to the technical contents. So, so, so now you have understood what are the different types of ATs and what it is involved with a hardware solution and everything. So what should you know about how to develop ATs, how it is developed, and what are the things it is in known. So first thing is like optimization process through simulation. So like uh, if if a vehicle is given like a vehicle with the engine model, like I have an engine of 1.2 liter engine, so it produces 90 PS of power and produces 120 Newton meter of torque. So for that, I need to select the gear ratios, right? So I need to go for a selection of gear ratios, and I need to put what kind of automatic transmissions I want. Either I want a DCT, I want a CVT, or I want a AT mover. So everything need to be modeled in the software called, we can use MATLAB Simulink softwares, or we can go for AVL Cruise. So this softwares will help in reducing the lead time of the project and gives you a proper selection of gear ratios and also give a fuel economy consumption. So you simulate each and every model, the MATLAB or AVL Cruise. You interlink all the subcomponents and drive the simulation. You drive it and simulate in any DC cycle. And in any DC cycle, so you check how you are benefited, like in terms of in DCT or AT or AMT, how we are going to benefit. In what terms of emissions, how you are getting benefited. In terms of fuel consumption, how much you are benefited, and case of gradability and acceleration performance. So you can give a distinguish between using of three different automatic transmission with a single power of engine. So 90 PS that will be a common one. So where your transmission will be different, you model it, you simulate it, you run the program, so and you will get the end results. So that kind of a optimization process, you should know it. So that is the main thing, which transmission you want to go. So that is one part. And second part is control systems. So control systems, like now also, how do you want to control it? So either you want to control through electric actuators, or you want to control by electro-hydraulic, like with the help of a solenoid. So oil will be given. So oil will be circulated with the help of a solenoid, whether you will be able to actuate it by means of a solenoid, giving the pulses like PWM, pulse width modulation, as an input signal, so that oscillating and generating the pressure and getting actuated, or pneumatic systems. So these are the different kinds of control systems which we are using it, or the embedded systems that can be programmed uh, in your control unit. So that has been decided, or you can model it, and you can that is like what kind of how severity, or how customer or consumer delightful the usage of that kind of control systems, because you have to select particular robustness, so that you should not have a repetitive kind of failures. So this is going to a market and you are giving a failure rate of 1 lakh kilometers, there will be no problem in the AMP or AT kits. So you have to select particular control system to have a robustness. Third is like thermal management. So like you are doing, because in automatic vehicles there is no clutch pedal, so you're just pressing act pedal and brake. That is the two things which you are going to do. So you will not able to know what is happening inside the automatic transmissions. So how the fluid gets circulated from pump to the transmission to the gears to the clutch actuations. So how much time the clutch is getting activated, so the closing engagement process, how much time that synchronizer is getting that is like synchronous moving from doing upshift or downshift. That is for first gear engagement, how the synchronous is moving from second gear to third gear. So this or everything process, then you have to do thermal, involve in thermal stress, and you need to calculate it, and each and everything is has to be modeled, and how many times it can be do. After that, you have to do design a cooling system for it, so that it won't get overrated after 10 or 15 times. So you have to do some cooling system designing, oil cooler design or flow of fuel to cool that part. So that kind of thermal management you should know, you should do, and to get into that knowledge. That is what I was trying to say in thermal management. So next is communication matrix. So coming to the communication matrix, so what kind of a communication is happening between the transmission controller? Because transmission doesn't, because it is not the only microprocessor present in the vehicle, because it has n number of ECUs that is present in the vehicle. So you have an engine ECU, you have a ESP ECU or ABS ECU, you have a telematics, you have a ECU, you have a cluster ECU, you have a seat belt ECU. So each and every ECU is getting communicated. So there are different kind of communication methods. CAN, LIN, so CAN FD, X-ray. So different kind of communication matrix are there. But currently, for all the microprocessor, we are using communicating through CAN only. So what happens when one of the ECUs interacting, there is a kind of situation. So when you are giving a panic brake, so what happens? So you will be giving a panic brake. So at the time, the vehicle speed will be coming to 0 kmph. So in that scenarios, if you're in fifth gear, ultimately, if you're coming to 0 kmph or particular kmph, your vehicle will try to stall it. So at that time, you would need to disengage the clutch. So that kind of a communication to be there. So logics to be communicated between the two microprocessors like ESP or ABS or TCU. So whenever a panic brake is given, that will instruct your TCU. So the particular speed comes below the threshold. So that time I will be able to disengage the clutch. So that kind of communication protocol need to be defined in the basic. And next is the last but not the least. So next is the hardware or electrical diagnostics. So how this diagnostics can be known? So like you have lot of sensors in the vehicle. So if you take transmission sensor like input shaft, output shaft sensor, or in case of the solenoids, you are giving a input signal, output signal. So and there is a, if you take an engine, there is a coolant sensor, throttle sensor, HFM sensor. So there are a lot of n number of sensors has been done. So what happens if one of your sensor getting failed or it got open circuited or closed circuited? So in that cases, what kind of a fault alarm has to be generated? Or if there is a situation that you are going the vehicle, suddenly some continuity happens, short circuit happens between the two sensor or the wiring harness, because now it's everything is a mechatronic one. So what happens if everything gets closed and short circuited? So your vehicle hangs in it. So that in that scenarios, so there should be an alarm to be indicated in the cluster for the customer to understand what is the problem, and he will take the vehicle to the nearby dealership to understand and to rectify it. So this is how this is another part of diagnostics where hardware also and also electrical part of it. So coming to this point, so these are the ways in which you can learn in transmission systems. So to have how to come or how to acquire your knowledge, how to get a job in this kind of systems, there are n number of roles has been there in transmission system. So one that is you can do a designing of transmission systems like Creo or 2D. So that is one part. So now people are moving from mechanical to a little bit of mechatronic systems. So they should know. So now people are taking into transmission calibrations or calibration diagnostics and transmission software development, and also thermal simulation softwares for the transmissions. So these are the n number of job roles which has been offered for in this current transmission domains.